Okay, taxes part two. So remember we talked about life-changing events. There's a major life change, birth, death, promotion, you bought a house, you sold your house, anything major, you probably need to revisit your financial plan. You want to talk to your accountant, your state's attorney. When it comes to taxes, tax season's coming. For 2025, I think you can start filing as early as January 27th. Typically, if you file online and select direct deposit, it takes about 2 weeks. Before 2 weeks, the IRS has 21 days before you can see your refund. However, if you are filing and you have earned income tax credit or the child tax credit, by law, you are not, there's a delay before you can get your refund. So even if you file your taxes January 27th, but you have earned income tax credit coming to you or child tax credit, you are most likely not going to see your refund if you file online and do direct deposit until somewhere between February 17th or the end of February. So just heads up, if you have earned income tax credit or child tax credit and you're filing January 27th, there will be a delay in that, just so you know that. So we talked about life-changing events will impact taxes. The first thing that I want to do for those who are like, I can't afford an accountant, go to rondaisms.com and then click under taxes, and then I have a list of free tax providers, and I'm just going to run through those real quickly for you. First of all, IRS has the free file program, and if you go to the website, you will be able to see those. Then there is, but with the IRS free file or the direct file, there is an income limit. So, and that's going to change each year. So you want to just make sure if you do not fit in that, if you make more than an income limit, there are also free tax softwares. Just make sure you know what you're getting, because a lot of them have like the small print, the fine print that nobody reads, and says that it's only free if you're a 1040 EZ, or it doesn't apply if you're going to do certain, like they're like, oh, it's not free if you do earned income tax credit, or it's not free if you have to do a certain deduction. So just read the fine print, make sure. And there is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, VITA. It helps low to moderate income taxpayers. It is free, and it also helps anybody that has a disability or they have limited English. You want to go to the website, or and it will, you put in your, and this is IRS supported program. If you go to their website, you put in your zip code, and it will tell you where you can go to get free tax preparation if you're low to moderate income. For our seniors and our elderly, there is a sister program to VITA called Tax Counseling for the Elderly, TCE. And it is in cooperation with AARP's Foundation for the Tax Aid Program. And it provides it provides tax filing for those who are 60 and over. The AARP website offers tax help for those who are 50 and over. So that's another one. Military. MilTax has a free file program, but also military. I just want to remind you that most professions, lawyers and accountants, have some type of pro bono free service for active duty military. Some of them even extend that for veterans too. So be sure to avail yourself of those opportunities. Again, go to rondaisms.com and it has this information. The other thing that I want to reach out to you guys, if you're having troubles, you're not sure what's going on, or you use a certain tax preparer and you think something's off, head over. There are some nonprofit advocates where their whole thing is they're about tax equity and helping people who have limited resources. So, and they advocate on your behalf. Prosperity Now is one of them, and the other one is the National Consumer League. The last thing that I do want to say is be careful about people who are willing to give you a W-2, or doing other stuff that is going to get you in a world of trouble. Like the people who file for PPP loans, and yeah, okay. You hear what I'm saying? Don't do anything foolish or that you will come to regret later. All right. So that's the free resources. We've talked about scams. Now let's get into some of the nitty-gritty things that are probably going to have a bigger impact on you. One of the first things I want to talk about, my sandwich generation people. Kids are at home or in college, and now all of a sudden you're taking care of your aging adult parent. Now, if that adult, your parent has moved in with you, you want to be asking your tax preparer or your accountant whether or not it's possible to claim them as a dependent. It will depend, and this is where you need to talk to a tax preparer or an accountant on your behalf. If your parent for some reason has now become unable to take care of themselves, like they are, there's Alzheimer's, there's dementia, and you've put them in a home, you want to make sure that if they, they've been taking out their pension distributions, and it varies by their age group and what year they were born. If not, there are tax penalties that they will have to pay, and you're going to have to file those for them. So, like I said, for my sandwich generation, you really need to talk to the adult parents that you are now caregiver for. Maybe you can file them as an adult dependent on your taxes. Maybe not. And if you, like I said, if it's to the point where they've had something like they cannot manage their own funds, you need to file their taxes on behalf of them. So that's also like talk to your accountant, tax preparer, and just have that conversation with them. All right, parents, here's something else we need to talk about. Your teen, your pre-tween is a gamer. They're a social media influencer, and they are making money. Happy for them. Too bad they didn't have it when I was that age. You need to file taxes. That income derived as an influencer from subscriptions, from donations, like and subscribe. Yes, they liked and subscribed. And if you had monetized the website where you got revenue, the tax man wants some of that too. You're going to need to talk to an accountant about filing taxes on behalf of your minor that's generated income from social media influencing gaming. For my athletes, high school, NCAA, NCAA. I'm thinking MLK, and that's why NAACP. For my college athletes, for my high school athletes that have NIL deals, name, image, likeness. Taxman wants his cut too. So I know quite a few of you guys are having deals from your social media accounts. Good for you. But again, the taxman wants his money. Things that you don't think are taxable, like if you just got a boatload of free stuff from a brand, that might be taxable. You got free shoes, free clothes. Talk to an accountant, talk to a tax preparer. If you already have, these are conversations that you should have been having before now. So if you, particularly, like I said, these are conversations that should not just be happening during tax season. They should be happening throughout the year. As like you started off doing as a social media influencer or a gamer, and you were only making $200 to $300. Oh, whoop de whoop. By mid-year, you're seeing more income. You need to, hey, I don't want to find out that I owe the taxman money. If you watch my first video on Taxes 2025, I mentioned how a friend of mine got a wonderful new job, new title, big promotion, big raise. And April 15th, it rings me up, and she's like, something's wrong. Taxman wants $14,000 from her. So if you gotten that raise, that bonus, that promotion, whenever those things are happening, call up your financial advisor, call your accountant. And if you're like, Rhonda, I don't know those people, I don't have money for that, go back to my first video, the one I did on transitions and on taxes. I give you a list of free resources. I'm going to briefly restate this, that for financial advising, your bank or your credit union a lot of times has free financial planning services. Whoever holds your 401k or your pension account more than likely has free financial planning advice. Start there, okay? All right, so I talked about my sandwich generation, talked about my gamers, my NILers. I'm trying to make sure, if any other thing, like if you bought a home, you when we talk about child credits, child care. And here's the other thing, most people, when we say child care, they're thinking about their children. If you, sandwich generation, are taking care of your parent and you send your aging parent to adult daycare, that might qualify for that child care credit. Talk to your accountant, your tax preparer, to see. There's so much, like I said, whenever there's these big life changes, you want to have that conversation. For anybody that had their student loans forgiven, public service loan forgiveness, most of those teachers, nurses, and doctors, and everybody else that got that in 2024, woo, good. Hey. However, you will probably not owe federal taxes, and click on the article, but some states may charge you taxes on the amount of the loan that was forgiven. You want to talk to your tax preparer and accountant about that. Like I said, on the federal level, that has been waived due to a provision that happened during the pandemic that goes, I believe, until the end of this year, something like that. But again, follow up with your accountant and tax preparer, because your situation in the state you live in is going to determine a lot. Same for if you're a hybrid or remote worker. You want to make sure that you're not subject to any double taxation. All right? I am going to quickly go through a few things. We talked about earned credit, student loan forgiveness, NCAA, NIL. If your loved one has died, your spouse, your child, your parent, you may need to file their taxes for them. Just saying, and I know this is a lot, because, but just things that you need to keep on your radar. And for those that you've had death of a loved one or something like that, maybe you want to talk to your tax preparer or accountant about getting an extension. Also, the wildfires are happening. It just reminded me that if FEMA has declared your area a natural disaster zone, more than likely the IRS has given you an extension to file your taxes beyond the April 15th deadline. Just because you had a disaster does not mean that you get that extension. You need to go to the irs.gov and if you just click on natural disaster zones. It has to be a FEMA declared disaster, and typically when that happens, those areas are given extra time to file their taxes, an extra 3 months, 4 months, or whatever. And it's going to depend on the type of disaster. Some people are given more time than others, depending on the severity of the disaster. So that's something to keep in mind for people who are experiencing the wildfires, because they might have lost all of their tax documents. So keep that in mind. I'm trying to, let me see, I have a short list that I wanted to go through with you guys. We talked about free filing options. We talked about our influencing gamers. I'm looking down. I hate to do that to you guys because I know my nieces and nephews are going to yell at me. But I think, like I said, the point of these videos is to give you a brief overview. It's like, hey, have you done this? If not, let's go back. Let's go back and check. So it's tax season. Have all your documents together. That's the first thing, particularly if you're going any place that's providing a free service. I used to do pro bono legal services. And the one thing that got on my last nerve is someone that came with no documents, or the person that came with a shoebox and then just like dumped it. What is this? Come prepared, come organized. And like I said, particularly if you're using pro bono services, it just makes it go much more smoother, and it's easier for the person to provide the best level of service for you. Hopefully this is helpful. Like I said, there's probably more, but like I said, the point of this is to give you guys tools, resources, and so that you know what you should be asking your accountant, your financial advisor, and your estate's attorney. All right? Hopefully this is helpful. Again, resources are on rondaisms.com, and follow up and start asking questions so that, you know, like I said, tax season, you should not be shocked by, there should be no surprise that you know, if you're going to be owing, you should know by the end of December that you're going to owe the tax man, and you should have spoken to your accountant about doing things to lower your tax liability. Either, you know, charitable donations, something. But that's the conversation that you need to be having continuously throughout the year with your tax preparer, with your financial advisor. And maybe it means you need to change your W-4 withholdings, okay? Have those conversations throughout the year, okay? All right, guys. Happy filing.